Hit us with it. What do we got? I'm going to start a Patreon to kill that music.
All right. This week's Why Don't They Just comes from Andrew Kaler, who says, why don't they just make full self-driving and autopilot features free or cheaper for really young or really old or some accessibility needs people? Perhaps this could be facilitated through paired keys and Tesla car insurance. I thought this was an interesting question.
It's a really cool question, actually. I'll start with I think that's a great idea. I think allowing for some additional, like almost in a sense, public safety things, things that could help the general public. For certain high-risk drivers or something like that, especially, I definitely think there should be, I think there is like a kid mode already, but, or at least a way for an adult to be able to like limit the car a little bit. But I think if as the software improves, doing certain things like that for certain drivers that could use it would be good. Right now, though, I feel like after having driven with 3 days, I basically let my dad drive the full way back from Florida. It still confuses him, autopilot, like when it's doing something that it's supposed to be doing, when it's not, when it's like, sometimes he'll just like forget that it's not on yet, and all of a sudden he'll just be like, I'm like, Dad, it's not on. Like, or like it'll be beeping at him and he'll just be like, I don't know, like there's some kind of disconnect.
What's it doing? What's that sound?
Like, I know for us that have like driven the car a ton and are used to how autopilot does its things, it's pretty natural and it's a pretty easy thing, but for someone that's unfamiliar, especially, and my dad's a smart guy, he's a techie guy, still kind of would sometimes throw him some loops where it was questionable safety. So I would like to see it definitely ironed out a little more before it's just like rolled out as a solution to help, maybe elderly drivers drive safer, because I think for now it'd be just confusing. That's my
What do you
thought.
think, Joe?
I think the Model 3 in general is confusing to somebody who hasn't been in one.
Yeah.
What, you press a button on the end of the stalk to park it? What?
I don't turn it off when I get out of the car.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and so, I mean, obviously they have to get full self-driving to a certain point before they can open it up for anybody, regardless of accessibility or age or whatever. And they're not quite there yet. So, but I do think that would be a good sort of first use case for it. I think a lot of technologies are kind of started by helping out people with disabilities or accessibility needs, whatever the right term is these days.
Like Neuralink.
Right, exactly, yeah. It kind of starts there, and then it kind of filters out to the rest of us. So if you want it early, just, have a spinal injury, and then there you go.
Jeez. Ben, what are your
Get creative.
He's not wrong. Yeah, so the kid mode thing, there is all I'm aware of is a speed limiter. You can set kind of like a valet mode where you can't change the settings and you can limit the top speed.
Does that limit acceleration though? Like, can you still just
You can put it in chill mode.
Oh, okay.
I think if you put it in chill mode and put the speed limiter on and then put valet mode on,
they can't change it.
I
think you're right.
I haven't
because
tested that.
I think you're right because I
that's-
picked up. I borrowed that Model X in Florida about a year ago, actually, almost exactly. And when I got it, it had chill mode and valet mode and like speed limit of like 75.
Yeah.
And so I like texted the guys like, "Hey, like I'm a responsible driver.
Can you take it out of valet mode?
It's slow in chill mode, like almost like
It's like a regular car. It's
Yeah,
like
it
a
is.
regular gas car. It's how
it
it
feels
feels.
almost like dangerous though, because like you forget like, I can't just zip through this intersection or get around this car quick or whatever. You get
Honestly,
so used to
that is how I feel when I get in a normal ice car.
It's scary.
Now. I mean, I'm not just trying to bag on ice cars, but like seriously, like the last time I rented an ice car and I got on the road, it was just like I felt like I was in danger. Like somebody's gonna run over me.
Yeah.
Because I can't just get up to speed.
I like this idea. I don't know if I think the notion. I mean, so okay, just to level set, when you buy any Tesla right now, new, it comes with autopilot. You can't buy it without autopilot. So if the question is then, what about full self-driving? Like today, I don't think that would make any sense because the added features for full self-driving aren't as like the delta between no autopilot and having autopilot, the basic version, and autopilot, the basic version plus FSD, I would say is incremental. It's basically navigate on autopilot with the auto like lane change thing is the only like noticeable difference, I would say. You have smart summon, but that's no, like I'm not calling that a huge benefit. And then the park assist, which I guess maybe you don't get automatic parking without the FSD upgrade now. So, but still, like just having autopilot alone, which you get with every single Tesla, I think is a huge help in this regard. Making it simpler, like I do think, and maybe they have this now, but having video tutorials in the car, almost like when you open a new app and it's like, hey, now click here, and it like waits for you to do it. That would be kind of useful, I think, if they could have some sort of like autopilot simulator to walk people through it more. Because like you were saying, like when do you? And I even remember when I got, because my original Model S did not have autopilot or anything. And then I had a Model 3, and then I got a Model X that did have autopilot, and I'm like, wait, how do I enable it? Because it's not the same.
It's different.
And then how do you adjust the follow distance? So I think like there could be better things there, but in terms of the capabilities, I don't know if this concept makes sense right now. If we're talking in the future where cars are completely self-driving, I think it'll be a completely different model then anyways, and we might not even own cars.
Right.
So who knows? It would be cool if there was a way to, I like the sentiment, but I just don't think the reality of it matches that notion right now.
I think by the time it's truly a full self-driving thing, like they'll just have it. And maybe they could be discounted though. Maybe if that's an option still, like, a $10,000 option, full self-driving. Hey, if you're elderly or disabled, blah, blah, a $2,000 option or something cool like that would make sense. But until it's to that point of being totally feature complete, I think you're absolutely right.
You know what, though? I think that will also be a really great, for lack of a better term, PR stunt. Maybe I shouldn't use the word stunt, but it would really be good for PR to be able to say, like, we're giving people the ability to get around, and we're giving it to them for free or for, discounted or whatever.
Agreed.
And Tesla does that stuff kind of right when there was like hurricanes in Florida and it was your software locked on your battery. They just enabled that. So yeah. I mean, I like the sentiment. I think the technology and reality aren't there to match that right now, but down the road, maybe that'll be.
Or even how they give like free supercharging miles, for people like trying to clear out of like wildfires and hurricanes and stuff. And like that's the easiest PR move they could ever do. A car company car companies can't give you free gas. Like they'd have to ship you a gift card or something, and be like, here you go, we gave you $20 so you can get out of the hurricane, or whatever. Like, but this is just super easy. Just go, you, everyone in this area, free supercharging. Go. Easy.
I wonder if there'll be like a movie pass thing, but for gas, where you just pay a monthly service fee to it, and then you get unlimited gas wherever you go.
Might get down to that.
Sounds like it'd be a bad model.
Sort of on a similar topic, but I wanted to ask. I saw Doug DeMuro's video on the Model Y. It was just kind of on in the background yesterday, but I noticed that on that one, he was showing the visualization of autopilot on the screen, and it is showing the stoplights and the lane markings and stuff, or the turn signals and stuff like that. Like, what is that? Like, is that some new?
I have that.
You have that?
Yeah, because I have full self-driving. I remember I got the hardware 3 chip.
You have to have full self-driving.
Yep, so you have to have full self-driving. That's the thing you guys said was, I'm not going to get. And I'm like, I'm going to get it. And you're like, have fun in 3 years. And I'm like, I'll have fun in 1 year.
So this is from Autospec Motoring, who's Kyle.
Tim, I think you need to do some more push-ups.
This is my time. I've
just
done
for that
gloating.
attitude.
I've done too much gloating. Push up, boy.
So, Kyle at Autospec Motoring, who, if you guys haven't heard of his channel, I really like it. Showed this. So, Joe, I don't know, have you seen this? But he has apparently a newer version than the rest of us somehow, it'll actually stop at stoplights now.
Wow.
And this is something they reported they would have, but you can see that there's actually a notice here, and it stops for stop signs. So in fact, what's happening is, as it's getting closer to full self-driving, and it's actually in the rain too, which is kind of cool. So that's coming. They said that would be out in a year or so, where you could essentially drive it on city streets. Now, I'm very interested in this, having the car, detect streets and stop at stoplights in a place like Las Vegas, where there are blinking and buzzing lights everywhere. The cameras could do it if they knew how to focus properly and what to look for, which is in theory. But see, look at that, stopping at traffic control, 30 feet. So it's actually stopping at this light on its own.
And there's a red background there. I wonder how standardized the light colors are in traffic lights. Like, is there a specific wavelength that it would be able to pick up on and say that's definitely a red light?
Well, from a machine learning, from a computer vision standpoint, I imagine what's happened is, we've all been driving our cars and stopping at these things, and it probably took a team of 20 people a couple days just to go in and say, well, that's a light, that's a light, that's a light. But like in Tejas over there, your lights are sideways, right?
A lot of times
they go both ways.
Yeah, it's Texas. They go both ways. That's the state.
We're bilateral.
Yeah, there you go. So things like that would be a bit different, right? And so, but clearly they have tons of data on this already. And plus, we've been programming the cars to stop at these locations because we stop ourselves, right? So we're kind of training the algorithms. I wouldn't be shocked if that starts to roll out on wide release sooner.
For instance, I haven't been driving my car. I've probably only driven it like 20 times since I got the update anyway, because I'm not really going anywhere lately. But I was driving it just the other day, and I noticed like it puts that line on the road of where it basically needs to stop, and it'll do that without a line there. Like I was stopped at a stoplight, and I'm looking, I'm like, there's no visible line at all. Like I can't see it with my eyes, and the car determined based on like, again, machine learning, like it has a sense of this is where people are stopping due to X, Y, and Z, and it triangulates where the line should be and kind of paints its own line on the road. And it's using that as a reference of like, here's where you should stop. And it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's working. It's working. The whole machine learning how to drive instead of telling it how to drive is absolutely working.
Now, the opposite side of that is that there is a downside. Did you guys see this? This guy created traffic jams on Google.
Well, I see a cool ad.
Oh, I love the ad blocker thing.
Yeah. He created traffic jams at Google by wheeling around 99 smartphones in a wagon.
Oh my god.
Oh, I have heard of people doing that. Yeah.
No.
So this guy literally has like a radio flyer wagon, and he's dragging it around, and because of how Google Maps works, it created,
No way. So that way, a route around.
Was he
his
doing that
street?
just to see what would happen, or was he like specifically trying to get Google to route people away from that street?
No, he's. I think he's a performance artist or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And this was intentional for him to, to do exactly what he did, to create.
That's kind of crazy.
That's like when, this is dating myself, but if you remember, Sony put out DRM, digital rights management stuff, on their CDs back in the day, so you couldn't copy them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, if you wanted to copy a CD and give it to your buddy, you couldn't do that because they somehow programmed in this thing. And like a 9-year-old figured out that there was like an on the bottom of the CD where the actual like music was, there was like a little new weird little colored strip around the edge. And so he just took a Sharpie and like colored it out, and then he could copy the CD.
No way.
So it was like probably like, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars of research and stuff and testing to go into how to do this, and a 9-year-old with a Sharpie, like one afternoon, just like just wipes all that away.
That's hilarious. Wow. Hey, thanks for checking us out, guys. I hope you enjoyed this clip from our podcast.
We do a weekly show here on YouTube, so make sure to subscribe to Our Ludicrous Future, where we discuss all the things that are going to make our future totally ludicrous.
You can join us here on YouTube or at any of your favorite podcast places. Plus, if you want to get some behind-the-scenes stuff and join a cool community, you can help support the channel at patreon.com. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.